Hello everyone. Uh, Lecture 40 Critical Control Points. Learning objective. To understand the purpose of the critical control points, to define the term critical control point. Legal responsibility. Food companies have a legal responsibility to produce safe. Food companies have a legal responsibility to produce safe food. A business that breaks the law faces improvement notices. A fixed time period is set for the company to rectify problems. Prohibitions noise. The company is not permitted to produce practical food items. Preservation. Critical control point is an identifiable point in the production chain where the hazard may occur. Action is taken to prevent the hazard from occurring. This can either be a point, step, or procedure at which control can be applied and is essential to prevent or eliminate a hazard or reduce it to an unacceptable level. A critical control point can be used to control more than one hazard. Regulation storage CCP. Alternative server CCPs may be needed to control one hazard. Points may be identified as CCP when hazard can be prevented. For example, destruction of chemical residue can be prevented by control at the receiving stage. A chemical hazard can be prevented by control at the formulation of integrated addition stage. Pathogens, bacteria growth can be controlled by uh, refrigeration, storage, or chilling. CCP may be identified where hazard can be eliminated. For example, pathogen bacteria can be killed during cooking. Metal fragments can be deleted by metal detector and eliminated by removing the contaminated product from the processing line. Parasites can be killed by freezing. Point may be identified as CCP when hazards are reduced to acceptable level. For example, the occurrence of foreign objects can be minimized by manual sorting and automatic collectors. Some biological and chemical hazards can be minimized by obtaining shellfish from a private water. YouTube canal. This orange technological CCP controls and ideals the health plans.
Critical control point and the OPRPs in the attached example, our orange juice, from step number 1 to step number 16. In the previous video, I have explained the table of the CCP and the OPRP, and I've mentioned that if the answer of the questions of the decision tree, the first question yes, the second question no, and third question is no, so the final decision will be OPRP. And if it is yes, no, the question number 4 is the most important question, which is if there is any another step will be to eliminate the risk, will be no, so it will be very critical to the food hazard, so it will be the critical control point. I have mentioned the hazards of the process to physical, chemical, and biological. So we'll start from receiving of orange, step number 1. We'll think as a physical hazard and biological hazard and chemical hazard. We will say, okay, for example, the process name is receiving of orange, and we'll multiply the severity by the probability, and we will say that severity is 4, probability is 1, so the total will be 4, so there is no significant risk. Maybe the reason maybe from unclean area, orange from farm. What the control mechanism, for example, say approved supplier, so no need for the decision tree question because it's only PRPs, as we have mentioned, only will make for the high score from as you can see here from 10 to 25, but now the chemical hazard will be also the same. The control will be the approved supplier and certificate of analysis. So here we will merge the last column, and it will be all prerequisite program PRP. So now we'll think sorry, about the second step. We'll think if it's very physical or chemical, biological sorting of orange. So if you can see, the multiplication result will be, the score will be 15. So there may be a risk, biological hazard from sorting of orange. Okay, now the reason, the presence of rotten orange. Okay, what the control, the visual standard, and the proof supplier and certificate of analysis. Now we'll ask the question number 1, number 2, and number 3, number 4. I want to explain here that it will be OPRP. Why it is OPRP again, rather than the decision tree? The last question of the decision tree, question number 4, that if there is any another step to kill any microbiology in this process. Yes, there is the pasteurization. So step number 2 will not be CCP, it will be only OPRP, but step number 8 will be CCP because there is no any other step in the process after pasteurization in killing microbiology. So we'll also explain step number 8. Now we'll think also about washing. Step number 3, it will be normal work, PRP, it will be normal work, PRP. Squeezing out, filtering. Okay, the filtering, it controls the physical hazard, so it will be an OPRP. But why? Because there is another step, more advanced step to control the physical hazard, which is X-ray. So the X-ray step will be the CCP. Now we'll continue concentration, reconstitution by addition water. Make the risk assessment in physical, chemical, biological in each step. Now we'll go to the pasteurization. The pasteurization will now make the table of it when we reach it, because we must make in each process the risk assessment of it. The severity 3, the probability 1 of the physical hazard in pasteurization, so there is no any risk, so no need for the questions. Now will come the biological hazard 5 by 5, so it will be a very high risk, so there must be a control. As you can see, high risk from 12 to 25, so yes. And presence of microbiological hazard in orange as a reason. Then they control the sorting of orange in step 2, the killing microorganism in this step, certificate of analysis and approved supplier. All these steps are controlled, and you can say the decision tree, the most important question is question number 4, that if there is any another step in control the hazard, so there is no any another step in controlling the microorganism contamination in our orange juice, so it will be in a CCP. So step number 8 will be CCP, the bottle filling, normal step, the bottles capping, normal step. The X-ray will be CCP, as I have mentioned about the CCP in the upcoming video, inshallah.